There we go. Now we're recording. And we'll send this out with the recap in about a week or so, along with any chats that come in and replies to the chats. So, without further ado, let's jump into the content. Oops, looks like I didn't edit that slide. So we'll be focusing on the past 3 releases, June, July, and August. We'll also take a look at what is planned to be released for the remainder of the year. And we have a feedback request here. So at the end, I'll go into a bit more detail about what it is. So we're requesting for you to supply input on, but there will be a survey that we'll post to the listserv within the next coming days. This will be distributed to everyone. So please take a moment to fill it out, send it back to us, because you will help to shape the future direction of Rialto. So let's jump right back into the content here and look at the June release. So within the month of June, we had some small but mighty features released. So we had a menu name change. So with the incorporation of Rialto into the Ex Libris software suite, we updated the name in the lower right-hand corner from ProQuest to Ex Libris to follow the other Ex Libris branding elements throughout the interface. We have availability badges displayed for print offers within the offer record itself, so we'll show how that looks. The customized list request link, it's a mouthful, removed from the requests and services page. Another change here, Unabook, and I'll get into why Unabook, the content's no longer with us. And some new features, we had the monitor exports page and new awards fields within the query builder. And these new awards fields, I have a few things to say about them, but this has been an ongoing thing. So nice to finally wrap it up. This past release, the final change went out in August, and I'll get into detail here as we look at those awards. So let's jump first into the menu name change, and I have so many windows here in my way. Hopefully, y'all can see my screen. Okay. So let's start first with the monitor exports page. So we had a series of modifications to exports performed over the past 3 releases. In May, we turned exports into job, where you were no longer locked to the page in Rialto we were performing the export from. In June, we released a monitor exports page. So now you can, from any page, and this is at a per user level, I don't know what book this is. Let's go for it. You can view the exports of your page. I must have done this search. So if let's say I want to export all the offerings here because I need to work offline, give this to someone else to approve, but I do want to purchase this book, I can export the page, and you'll see down here in the lower right hand corner, this is evidence of the export now being a job. It was a pretty quick export because there's only 11 offerings there. I want to show the exports page. So let's say I did the export, I missed the notification, I stepped away to get coffee, whatever it is, or it was a large export that was taking some time to perform. So I wasn't able to catch that notification as it came in, and maybe it's lost within the other 62 notifications I have here, and I've lost context. We have a monitor exports page now. So this is accessible from the collection development. So here's that name change. So we're now collection development, no longer the marketplace in the menu. So you navigate to collection development, and then underneath market, the last item here for every user is monitor exports. When you select monitor exports, you have a list of all of the exports that you've performed since the creation of this page. So it only goes as far back as the June release when it was first implemented. And you can view all of the page exports. The nice thing about this page here is it gives you the page name. So if I'm exporting a list, it's not just my list. The list name is included here. Same with title alert. The title alert name, feeds the feed name so you know which feed it is or list that you perform the export from. In this case, it shows the offerings. So I exported an offering. So I have the title of the books there too. All of the exports that you perform are present on the page until you elect to delete them. So there is no auto delete here. You would need to perform manual cleanup, or you can leave them as it is. To delete, you can click the tick boxes and then delete in bulk, or you can delete individually. You can download by clicking the file name or in the ellipses over here. So when I download, just like the original one, it goes to my downloads and I can open that up at my leisure. But these are here again until you elect to remove them. And therefore, every user, there's no conflation of my exports and someone else's exports. These are only things that you've done. So this is the monitor exports page, and I want to jump to the new awards as well. So we have performed updates to the award fields within the query builder. This has been, oh, weird. Sorry, heard a sound. These awards have been, or these updates have been going on since, I want to say, it's been about a year and a half, 2 years of us completely working on this project to consume the awards from an alternate backend source, so that they come to us now directly through Bowker from Synthetix Unbound. So we in this release we broke. So I'm sorry. In the November 2024 release is when we first pushed out all the new awards that we had from that source. In this release, in the June release, we were able to break down awards into different categories. So in the very beginning of Rialto, all we had was award name, and it was and I'll go to the award name field here. It was a string search, so I could begin to type in an award name, and all I would have to enter is just Bram for Bram Stoker, and it would that was sufficient. But then we found over time that, hey, there's misspellings, there's typos, some of the awards are changing, so we're not pulling back the same stuff. So then we moved to awards where we had the search within the search bar itself, where you can find that award, and we have an authority for the award name. That was sometime, I want to say, like 2023. Then we have the new awards, where we change from award names in the interface, award IDs in the back end, where we can now allow for these awards to change over time without breaking profile. And now the addition of the winners and nominees as a separate filter, and the year as well. So previously, if you did a search for an award in the early stages, it was just that award name over all time. Following that up, we had the award name when we were going to an award name authority with the winner or nominee, and you had to select the result to go in your feeds or your search, whatever it is you're using it. And now it's these separate fields. So we have, and you can see how these things change and how they interplay with one another, because they are completely independent fields. So if I wanted to search for, oops, I needed to select that one. If I wanted to search for Justice Award, and this award only, you'll see that I have about 1,000, and this is changing here too in an upcoming release. So we realize that this award ID should not be showing, the award name should be present, and that there's a larger fix coming from that in an upcoming release. But you can see I have about 1,400 works coming back from this award search. I can then layer in award result. Oh, I wanted to keep award name, so let's keep award name. And let's do winner instead. So we'll just search both these together. So that then takes that list down to 438 titles, and I can add in award year. And let's let's just try 2020. See if we get anything. So that takes it down to the things that won that year. You can search for these things independently as well. So if I just want all award winners for every award over all time, I can search by just all award winners. If I want all award winners from a certain year, so if I just want to focus on anything that won an award in 2020, I can do that as well. So they are completely independent fields. However, you can layer them in. But if we don't have an award for a particular year, then you won't get results for that award for that particular year. So with these adjustments to awards, if you had awards, and this is in the August resolve defects area of the release notes. If you had profiles, so title alerts, a recommendation feed, or a selection plan that utilized awards, we did find some that were on that very old way, the initial way that we had for searching awards, where we didn't know whether or not you wanted a winner or a nominee. So we had gone through and programmatically changed some of those. However, if we did not know what you wanted, we didn't make that adjustment. So we didn't make any adjustments on the recommendation feeds or the title alerts that would have had these elements. However, we did make adjustments to selection plans, because the selection plans that were present did indicate winner or nominee. So if you have these things running, you may just want to take a look at what you do have, make sure it's running as expected. If it's not, if there isn't a broken award field, what will happen is the plan will still run. The profile itself, rather, will still run. It'll still search. It's as though that line didn't even exist in the profile. So nothing's necessarily broken in the output. It's just not recognizing it. So what you will see in the interface is it'll say award name, and then the line next to that will be blank, because we either no longer have that award, because with the change in November, we lost just under 20 awards. However, we gained many hundreds of awards. Some of those awards, too, are now going to be coming to us in a different manner. So this is coming in a future release where we have curated topics. We're going to include notable lists and distinctions and honors from Syndetics Unbound as searchable lists there. So some of these awards never really were awards. They were more distinctive lists. And so you can focus on those items there. So stay tuned to future release notes. I believe that comes in, I think, September. I forget where I am in space and time with our releases, but I believe that one is in September. Sticking to June, again, we have the collection development name change to accommodate the inclusion now of the product formerly known as Collecto within to Rialto itself. So this is if you haven't heard about this is the workflows area. So right now this is in early adoption. So I'm sure we have some early adopters on the call now. If you're interested in becoming an early adopter, we're happy to work with you. You can send me an email after the chat, and I can forward that over to the team to set that up for you. We have them enabled in our demo environment for the purpose of performing demonstrations, but the first one that's out there, I believe, is the retention flow. Deselection, it was out shortly following. In the future, there'll be an expansion workflow in there as well. So all sorts of very interesting things will be happening within the coming 12 months. But yeah, menu name change to accommodate the inclusion now. Let's go to the availability badges on offer records. And let's do a search for, actually we can stay in this search because we have some print offers here. This one has 6 offers. So we had a not very easy to intuit previously view of print items, the print shipping estimates, availability, whether or not we could get this print item out to you quickly. you had to, in earlier releases, click into the listed offer and then click within the offer details, and that's where we would show the availability for that print item. This change now is to show that availability for the print item directly in the listed offers for easier scannability, so that you don't have to click into the offer details to see when, or the availability, rather. Sorry, I have a bunch of floating windows here. The availability of that print offer. So now you can see at the list level, the listed offer level here, and within the offer details, we have the nice badge that carries over. There's messaging that displays on hover for each of these things. So a nice change for print. And you may say, hey, why are you making that change for print? Because aren't you not selling print starting next year? That's interesting that you said that. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about some changes to print. No, we're not selling print, but I'm going to talk about how our interface could interact differently with print offers in the future. So these things still are viable for scannability. And this is the list of the badges for offer records. Two other smaller things here. So we do have a page, requests and services. And this page is available to all Rialto users. There is an admin setting to show or hide some of the elements, or excuse me, to show or hide this page in general. So if your admin has elected to not show this page to you, that could be the case, but by default, it's enabled for everybody. There was a line item on this page to request for a customized bespoke list to be created for you. We have removed that line from this page because the team that provided that collection service has been significantly downsized and no longer has the capability to perform that request. So it's been removed from the page. Something I do want to mention related to that is if you do have any requests for platform activation, for really anything Rialto related, we have the request for you to create an Alma support ticket so that we can better track all of these requests through one source. It's easier to categorize, it's easier to see whom this should be going to. It's easier for you because you don't have to remember a specific person here, be them ProQuest or Ex Libris that you were working with. You just send that ticket over, then we can make sure that it's routed appropriately to the correct team. And again, gives us better insight into the things that y'all are requesting so that we can prioritize making enhancements to those areas and improving the communication. Just mentioning that before we go on. And then the last thing here I want to talk about is Unabook. So you may have noticed that Unabook content is no longer available within the marketplace. It's been removed from the query builder, removed from all searches. If you're not familiar with whom Unabook is, they're a Spanish content provider who focus on academic, scientific publications. We had about 20,000 or so different titles from them, primarily in Spanish and variations of the Spanish language. The reason that we no longer able to support their content is there was a termination of agreement with a third-party software provider that they were using in order to supply us with that content. So I know they're looking for another one at some point in time. We may integrate with them in the future, but because the way the content was being delivered and activated completely changed, we're no longer able to offer the content in the marketplace. We are still actively working with other providers, and again, stay tuned here because I'm going to mention one that's going to be coming out relatively soon in a press release. Go ahead and say it now. BLE Books, Browns, so yay! But we'll go into a little bit more detail on that too. And then more to come that haven't signed yet that I can't mention just yet, but definitely more to come. I'm going to pause here because that takes us to the end of the June release and ask, I'm taking a look at the chat and I don't see any other chats coming through, but if you have any questions, feel free to add them to that chat at any point in time. As they're coming to you, let me know. Okay, just give a moment here. When I click on the July tab. Okay, so not seeing anything coming through. But again, any point in time you have any question, please put it into the chat. And we'll pause a few more times here and again at the end. Okay. I will move on to July. Okay, so in July, we had 2 idea exchange. Sorry, I held up one finger. There we go, 2 idea exchange elements in here to help you perform your work either offline or within Rialto itself. So as mentioned, the exports has been an ongoing thing throughout the past few releases. So the element that we focused on in the July release was inclusion of additional metadata for the DDA pool export, as well as my lists. And the idea exchange element here is the my list. There was an idea exchange for including comments, that conversation that can occur within the list on the export. So that is now included on the export. And the other element here is a copy paste for profile rules. So let's say you have a selection plan and you want to downgrade that selection plan to a title alert or a feed for reasons. You can now copy that profile, any profile, and paste it into any other type of profile, or you can copy it and paste it into a text document to better export the rules for that profile. That type of export isn't as clean because we wanted to get this out in a way where you could do both of those things, both export the rules and copy the profile type from any one kind to the other. Let me show how that looks. So I am going to start with the copy paste first. So let's go back into Rialto and let me go to a selection plan. And to get to the view where you can perform the export, here we go. Let's go here. So it's not an export as you would see an export on any other page. It's a copy that allows you to then export it. But really you're copying the JSON, the backend language, to then be moved to another profile type or to a text document. So what you would want to do if you wanted to copy, and let's say this was pages and pages or scrolls and scrolls, many rule lines deep, to copy the entirety of the query, you just start with the uppermost rule. And you'll see here on hover, I have copy group. So that's the item that you would want to select if you want to select the entire profile. And then this is your paste options. So the 2 are right next to one another. And this appears again for every Rialto user that has access to the varying profile levels, varying types of profiles. So if I do copy group here, and we can take a look, we have a little over 10 rules here, starting with available X weeks ago, language, readership level. So I copied this, and now I can go to let's do a recommendation feed. So let's do, and if you're not familiar with the recommendation profiles, they're essentially an advanced search. Let's make a new one, and we'll call this August demo. And I'm going to go right here and select paste. And I'm going to remove this upper one because I didn't want this upper one. I already have a flavor of it, but I don't want to keep that first one here. Remove rule. So you'll see that my overarching here is the is an and. and that's inherently what it is behind the scenes. These are all, this is one giant and. Selecting and or is going to give you the same results. And we are looking into being able to remove this just so it's cleaner. But the moment you paste it in, it's the same as if it was operating on the selection plan. But you can see that now I was able to copy what was my query in the selection plan to the recommendation feed. I can save this as it is. I can make any adjustments if I need to make any adjustments. When you do this copy, so I went to selection plan initially intentionally because selection plans are a little bit more complicated than recommendation feeds, profiles, and title alerts. Selection plans do have layered in rules within the rules themselves. So if I go back to that selection plan, and I was on children's and young adults, let's go back in here. It copied the base query. Within selection plans, you also have rules. So you'll see that whatever I had saved within a rule didn't copy those rules. So if you do want to do this for a selection plan, this would be a copy for the base query and then a copy for each of these rules themselves as well. So you can see here too, if I wanted to paste in the base query here, I could paste that in. So you can paste it anywhere. And I could copy these and paste that over to the other one. So copy paste all throughout Rialto for profiles. And if you wanted to perform an export of this, I just need to move this down so I can see what I'm doing. I just went to an online, never mind all these advertisements here, JSON editor. So this is JSON. If I paste in the text, you can see all of my different rules. So I have my field name here available X weeks ago, 26 weeks, the operator down here. And then you can, share this with anyone else in your team or an outside group where they can replicate. The outside group may prefer this because it is in a coded language that is very common. So that is the copy paste. And we'll go back into Rialto and show the additional data on exports. So I want to go to my handy dandy monitor exports page. And to save time, I performed this export the other day. So we have a list that has comments on it. And y'all should be able to see my screen. So we've added the effort to include the additional metadata. There was some metadata that was standardized on exports across all pages from Rialto, and it was very simple. The title, the ISBN, publication year, and I think a couple other values. So what we've done is we've taken a look at what could be exported in the metadata for every single page and standardize that. So we have title, author, publication year, publisher, binding, material. I'm just going to keep scrolling here. ISBN 13, ISBN 10, classification, platform, license, price. I'll just keep scrolling. So now this information, when present for an offer, will show all across Rialto. So I'm just going to keep going here to show you all the different things that have been added. And then for lists in particular, the comments. Now, the comments do appear in a string. That are separated. Each comment is separated by a semicolon. So you'll see the first one here was in March by Rialto admins. We have the timestamp, the date, and the comment in here is the comment, why? How about now? So all the conversation about that particular offer is here within the comment line. So that wraps it up for July. And I'm looking at the chat again. So if you have any questions about June or July, please add them in. Give a moment here. I know I saw one come through. This is usually a talkative group. I know this time of year, some people may not be here that are maybe a bit more talkative than others. Ah, okay, I see one. Yay. Okay. Hooray. All right. So we have one in here. Can we export all offers that come up in a search? So if you're asking about the work level, which I will talk about here in, I think, August, the August release. No, so the work level, you are limited to the representative offer for that work. So if I'm doing a search, I'll go back into Rialto. And let's do here that book again, Operation Paperclip. So this is our work level search, right? Where I have 8 different works, but I have a total of how many offers? 21 offers for each of these. If I perform an export from this level, what's happening is the representative offer for each of these works is being selected. So this is the offer that we send to Syndetics to pull back the cover art, to initially pull back the offer or the language, and the publication year as well. At this work level, we typically focus on not typically, we do focus on the most recent publication within that work. So be it a new edition or a reprint of that thing, it's going to be the newest edition. So in saying that, it will be the metadata present for that newest edition, which may or may not necessarily have everything that would be present on an older edition or a different version of it. So I hope that answers that question, and I'll show how that looks on an export as well. We also you have the ability to, once I click into a particular work, to export, everything at this level as well. So that is coming. The enhanced data at the offer level is coming, I want to say, in the September release. Again, I can't recall if we're working on it now and I tested it, or if we just finished it and it's coming out soon. But it is coming out this year. We're trying to wrap up everything for exports by the end of 2025. So I hope that answered the question there. Let me see. There's follow-up here. There we go. All the offers of all the titles in the search results. So I hope that answered the difference between the work export and the offer level export, because the work is representative. Thank you, Evelyn. Okay, I don't see anything else coming in here, so we'll move on to the August release. And let me go back to PowerPoint to keep myself honest with where we are. So in August, we have this first one here under general enhancements. It was not an idea exchange, but I wish it was, because it was a customer request. It just wasn't on the idea exchange, and it was such a good request. Why hadn't we done this? So we have the option to not override quantity on cart template. And this really came into, we need to do this because the integration that we're doing with Leganto by the end of the year as well. So we definitely don't want to upgrade or override that quantity as we're pulling in a tighter workflow with reading lists. So I'll show how that works in cart templates. We also have the branding update to the footer, so I'll show that as well. And so small comment related to that too. Sage changed their name, so we updated their name in the interface to reflect their request. And more metadata added to additional pages. So we have the market search results, which I just mentioned, so I can show how that looks on export. Curated topics, lists. So when you're in a curated topics, not the list of curated topics, but the list of books on the individual list, and the orders awaiting approval page. So let's first show the option to not provide quantity. So let me make sure I have an offer in my cart that has quantity. Here, let's do the search again. And I'm going to add Yeah, let's add this one here. Let's add this to my cart, and I'll add several versions of this book to my cart. Not several versions, several copies. Let's add 8 copies. And I'm just selecting some random things here. I know these would never go together. Yeah, they don't make any sense together, do they? But just to show how this would work. So we have a book in the cart with 8 requested. Let me go back to cart templates over here. And I'm going to use Diana's template. So you'll see there's a new line over here. Do not override quantity fields. Now we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checkboxes for you to utilize to best implement the cart templates for Rialto, and the last one being do not override quantity fields, which we'll ignore. So if you have this one checked, clear all fields when applying templates. So this is an option that I know most of y'all do use. If there are fields pre-filled and you want to get rid of the text because you don't want anything an error going through with that order. By default, we always have quantity of 1. That's just there always at all times. A quantity field is never blank. It is 1 always. Even when this is checked to clear all fields, if you check this box here, do not override quantity field, we'll respect that. We won't override the quantity. So I want to show how this will work when all of these things are applied together. So we'll go back to the cart and use Diana's template. And I'm going to tick this box here, apply template. And you can see this has that clear all fields indicator there as well. Whenever you apply a template, you'll see that the template name is there, so you know what template has been applied, and any fields that have been changed will reflect that. Oh my, look at this. Oh, my template had. Oh, yeah. This isn't this. This is interesting. That should not have overridden. So we'll do it again. We'll do that again. Apply templates. There we go. I don't know why that went initially, but there's my quantity 8. Let me go do a different one here. Let's go back to a different template. Oh, live demos. They're wonderful, aren't they? Let's try this one here. So we'll use Justine's, unless I do not override quantity field, and I had 8 in my field. Let's go back over here. Oops, move this window. And there we go. Now it's working as expected, where it's leaving my default. This is how it should work. I'm going to chalk this up to be the ghost in our demo system. Please let me know if you see that not happening, where we're not respecting the quantity field, but we should, once the quantity field has been edited and there is more than 1 there and you tick that box, the quantity field should not be adjusted at all. So that is the do not override quantity. The other thing here, we'll show the market search results for exports. We'll go back to this book again. And yeah, so we have 8 offers here, varying years of publication, going from, looks like 1990. I had to move my screen down. So unknown 1990 on. If I perform an export of this page, which shouldn't take very long, let's open up this export. You'll see I have the title, the author, language, ISBN 1310, pub year. Not all of these things are filled in. So you may go into, because you'll see this one here, publication year 2026. It could be that we don't have all the metadata yet from that supplier, because this is a more than likely a reprint. But it's what's selected for the representative. So I should have, yep, 8 lines here. We'll forego the first one here, but 8 lines for the 8 different works that were present, and all the different lines for the data that could be pulled through from those representative offers. So that is the search results for curated topics. Same deal. The same data set, more or less. If you take a look at the release notes, it's the same data set for each of those pages. Orders waiting approval does have a bit more, because on orders awaiting approval, there's more data present, right? You have all those cart elements there as well. So if I perform an export here, it may take, excuse me, a little bit longer. But on orders waiting approval, we have, I'm gonna go through here. We have the actual ordering information in here as well, right? The quantity, the cost, discount. So very similar to what you'll see eventually on the cart export. Locations, funds, rush, routing, internal notes. I'm gonna keep scrolling here. All the different notes, note to vendor, note to approver, interested users. So anything cart associated pulls through here as well. So significantly more information coming through on this. And the last couple things here, pretty minor, and that is sorry, again, moving windows, my apologies. So many popovers. The branding, CLC, we used to have a little PQ with the road path over here. Now we have the Ex Libris Rainbow and the Ex Libris Power Clarivate. We had the terms of use here in the footer for Rialto. That terms of use has been moved to the broader online documentation. So now you'll find it within the Knowledge Center. It's in the main general area. So terms of use, content not lost, it just moved to a different place. Which, to be honest, I don't know why we never had it there to begin with, too. Put our terms of use in system only. It should have been accessible elsewhere as well. And then the Sage publishing name. If I go into the query builder here and let's look up Sage. So I think there's Sage Reference and Academic Books is the new name for Sage. I think it was just a Sage. I think it was just Sage Publishing before. So that is the change. I will pause here again and ask if there are any questions for the August release. I'm just clicking ahead slides. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in. Go back and take another look. Let me know if you do. I'm going to start talking about what's planned for the rest of the year to be delivered by end of the year here. Again, any questions as they come to mind, just pop them in that chat and I'll take a look. Some of these things I mentioned on the last call, they haven't changed. We're actively developing them now. So the first thing there is that ebook accessibility update. So this is accessibility metadata to be compliant with selling ebooks in the EU, primarily there first, but it benefits every Rialto user. So this is metadata that's coming from the publishers, from the platforms, and then makes its way over to us for display. So a number of different accessibility features for ebooks will be present there. They'll be filterable. We'll have icons for accessibility, and it'll be there within the offer details as well, and present on exports. So this is coming by the end of the year, looking more like a December release for the accessibility updates. The same with the reading list and the query builder. So development has been ongoing for some time now. Our Levanto team aspect is more or less done. Now it's on us to be pulling this in for search and display. As what this is that tighter integration with Levanto. the present workflow, you start from the Leganto pages within Alma. This is pulling in those reading lists for current and future courses directly into the marketplace. So new query builder rules for state, current or future, and for citation tags. So if you leverage the citation tags within Leganto, use Leganto, you can filter by those things as well. This is for search in general. We'll have badges on these on these offers. And when you perform a purchase within Rialto, we'll link that purchase to all of the citations that are linked to that book and close them all out. There's other aspects to the Leganto workflow is that will take place in the Leganto side, but for Rialto side, this is what will be happening. We also have, and this is related to what I'm going to talk about directly after this as well, a new platform configuration page coming for Rialto admin at the end of the year. So a couple fun things here. And I'm pretty much gonna kind of read off this blurb so I can remember what it is I wanted to say. But we had the broader change that was announced in February. So this is a direct result of that. And this is something that we did want to do, but how we're doing it and the need to do it is very apparent now. So as we make that shift for print into the referral model or just a different workflow within Alma or Rialto in general, and a market for all of Alma that'll be happening towards the middle of next year. We do need to make some adjustments to the existing configuration page that we have out there for platforms. So this is going to be a significantly more robust platform configuration page. And you may also be asking, what's this market for Alma? Can you go back to that? I will. So yeah, middle of next year, we're going to release the ability to search the Rialto for everyone who has Alma. So there won't be a purchasing aspect of it. It'll just be the search. It ties in nicely with the workflows that'll be available for everyone. So that you have a better output of the workflows from those searches within the CDI and search elsewhere for what you could easily obtain if you choose to purchase through other providers. So this configuration page, you'll be able to say, oh yes, I have a relationship with this provider, so I'm going to tag this here because I want to expose this content to my users. For all of you that are existing Rialto users, you'll be able to show or hide platform content from that page. We'll show there are some things that'll be read only that we pull directly from Alma that'll be present, like the collection ID for the collection to vendor mapping and a few other things. So this is pretty significant work for our development team, and this will be coming out by the end of the year as well. And if you notice this last line here, the type of account, be it purchase or referral, that goes right to our feedback request to you. So there will be a survey that I'll put out in the recap for this. May just add that to the listserv like I did the May recap as well, because the more feedback we can get, the better, right? So we really do want your input here. So you may have heard us talk about the referral model for print books, and this is question 3 is what I'm looking at now, or what I'm talking to now. You may have heard us talk about the referral model for print books, and that was where you would, and again, Rialto is no longer selling the print books directly. We are going to expose them in the interface and give you different options for how you would want to interact with these, and that's what the survey is for. Because we'll be going with one option for delivery, but we want your feedback first. So the one option is you see a book in the interface and you have an option, depending on your role, to purchase that book elsewhere. You go to that vendor, we would deep link you there. If they have single sign-on available, we'll deep link you, and you place that order, and that order goes via API, the real-time ordering API, into Alma. You could see it from order history. The vendor takes care of the invoicing and everything about the order, but it is a little bit of a jarring experience where you're taken away from the interface. The And there's other things related to that too. If you're a purchaser or approver, closing out the POLs, closing out the purchase requests that are related to those things, the or those books. The other alternative is leveraging EDI. So EDI is a long-standing order placement. And if you ask me what EDI stands for, I can't recall the electronic something something. Um, but it's a very long-standing means of ordering books. Alma supports it. Just about every platform supports it. Um, what the EDI ordering way would be is you would see that print book in Rialto, and your workflow doesn't change. Um, your workflow doesn't change at all. If you wanted to order that print book, you would add to cart, you would send the order off. How that order is handled would be different. The order would go to the vendor. We would send that out via EDI. We'd create the POL. So you'll still see it within order history. You would still get a purchased in Rialto badge. The advantage here too is we could also tie into the EDI flow that we don't support now for claiming. There we go. Order claiming and cancellations. So there's nice benefit there as well, but the real benefit is the workflow doesn't change for you. So question on that, which you would prefer, because the only downside here is that the EDI ordering can be a bit slower. But again, this is for print, so think on that as you answer the question. Going back up here for Brown's VLE books, we have a signed partner, yay. So we are partnering with, and there'll be a press release coming out relatively soon, but we're partnering with Brown's VLE books for exposing their content within the marketplace for purchase and ordering, or for referral model, or this alternative way. We're talking about ordering books. So we want to know whether or not you are a UK customer, if you would prefer to order these books directly through the interface, just like you do with the other pub directs available within Rialto, or based on the Rails not being present on the SUPC tender, if you would want to see the books, but then order elsewhere outside Rialto. And if you're not a UK customer, are you interested in seeing this content and ordering it in general? We are performing an analysis now as we're getting the data feeds in. So the overlap of publishers seems to be pretty solid between eBook Central, with the eBook Central firm orders going away, and Brown's VLE books. They do invoice in GBP. However, they have plans to invoice in other currencies in the future. So yeah, if you're not in the UK, let us know if you're interested in seeing that. And then the very last question here is related to the community zone. So again, related to that February announcement, with the decommissioning of Oasis, one of the reasons we were able to get Rialto out so quickly is we utilized the same backend system. This is that legacy backend system that's mentioned here. That system houses provider records and sends those out via the import profile for activation, sending it. So we're looking at alternatives for activating the books, and we're looking at the community zone in particular. So if you could give us some feedback on the community zone, if you use it, hooray, great, positive feedback, negative feedback, neutral feedback. We appreciate all of it now. If you're using the institution zone, you're performing customizations, normalizations, please let us know. Yeah, and then if you're not keen or more keen on one or the other, again, we're interested in any and all feedback. It's a gift. It really is a gift. In this case, it definitely is, because you are 100% going to be shaping the direction of the platform going forward. Now we have a couple questions here in the Q&A, and this does take me to the Q&A. Oh, just about. Igloo. Igloo's coming up. We'll see you, Igloo. We have sessions. Here are our company-sponsored sessions. I won't be at Igloo. I'm jealous of y'all who are going to Igloo. What a lovely place in a perfect time of year. So we do have a couple things coming in here in the chat, so I'm going to read off these questions. So in order to buy electronic content from a platform, we need to have an import profile set up for them, and we need to make sure the profiles are activated in the right CZ collection. I just want to make sure that's being taken into consideration as Ex Libris makes it possible for us to turn on providers. We need to make sure these backend configurations. Yes, 100%. This is being considered. So this is all of what we're in discovery on and discussion now. And one of the reasons why on that profile page I mentioned earlier, we're going to pull in that ID so you know what collection these books are being mapped to. If you need to make a change, you can file a ticket. We can make that change for you. That page where those adjustments can be made is hidden now for support only. So we don't have any plan to expose that, but definitely do want to show the ID that you have set up. We're also looking at, like on that same page, there's different means of activating things if you're Rialto or Alma, and we're looking to we want to do the same thing for everyone, regardless of if it's Rialto or Alma. So I hope I answered that question, because we definitely are. There's another one here. I'll offer feedback right now that we really appreciate having our Rialto ordered ebooks activated in the CZ. It's a really smooth process. It's worked well. We want to continue this going forward. You definitely can. That's the plan. And thank you for that positive feedback. Another question here. Browns VLE books purchased in Rialto, would these be invoiced by Browns or ProQuest? Invoiced by Browns. 100% invoiced by Browns. ProQuest would be, and excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the Browns print books. I read Browns. Browns print books would be 100% invoiced by Browns. For the VLE books, that depends on the model that's implemented. If it is a classic pub direct, like we have with eBook Central, you'd be invoiced by us. If it is the referral model where you're going out, you would be invoiced by Browns. But we would be handling the invoice if it's a classic pub direct. Is there any word on EBSCO Gobi Mosaic content being available in Rialto, similar to Browns? We are in ongoing active conversations with them, and the best I could say, and I'm assuming this is a UK customer, please voice that with them directly. They're hearing it from us. They know that we want it. They need to hear it from y'all as well. I know we're at the top of the hour, but we have one other question here. Will UK-based institutions be able to purchase print books available from Browns via Rialto? So the print books, that's related to the survey question on how would y'all want to see that content? Do you want to order via EDI, where it's business as usual, more or less, in the interface, and you're placing the order in Rialto, or do you want us to redirect you over to the other platform to place the order with the other platform? But yeah, we definitely will be showing the print content and the ebook content within the interface. It's the interactions after that we want your feedback on. And I'll include the answers to all these questions in the recap as well, because I know we're 1 minute in. I shouldn't have paused to 10:02 to start it. Should have started immediately. Thank you everyone for joining today. If you have any other questions, please send them to me via email, put them on the listserv. Happy to answer any questions, and we'll be sending out that survey in here with the recap and the responses to the questions that came in through the chat. So thank you all for joining today, and we'll see some of you soon at Igloo.